Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Ain't That Something. And let me tell y'all, it has been 12 months since the beginning of Ain't That Something. When that first episode of Just Go For It was launched and released, I can tell you right now that the past 12 months of my life definitely shifted and went through all types of, journeys and experiences. And I can't appreciate it enough. Right. So we're here. We are a year in with Ain't That Something? And I'm super excited about it. And we are also in Women's History Month. Okay. And I love this month because we can just reflect on the different accomplishments and the different women leaders of the world, and the impacts that they have made on our lives, and our societies and stuff. And so, with that being said, there's so many key women to focus on. And so this month we're going to do a little bit of that, of giving some spotlight to some women and the things that they've done. And one woman that I want to highlight and recognize is Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo is a very unique woman. If you don't know much about her, take some time, check it out. She was a Latin or Latina artist in the early during some really significant shifts in the world, and a lot of her work is very, very expressive of just what she was going through. And it documents her journey in life with relationships and with children and pain. And so check her out, right? And on top of that, the Houston Museum, Fine Arts Museum, is doing a showcase of her work, an exhibit right now. So if you ain't got nothing to do, we got some beautiful weather going on right now. Go check it out. It will be up until May this year. So you got time. You got time to check it out, get a little cultured, see some of the artwork. I definitely think I will be going. Well, I won't think, I know I will be checking it out and enjoying and appreciating her bodies of work. So let's get into it. This is a new year. This is a new chapter. And what does that mean for Ain't That Something? What is the next step? Well, now that we have this established, now that this goal has been set, just like any other goals, you have to be prepared for the next level of where this is going. So all I can tell you guys is that right now, where I am with the podcast is continuing to grow it. I still feel like I'm in a baby stage. I still feel like there is so much to learn, and I'm not trying to rush anything. I'm not trying to push it into a space where I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself, with the podcast, but at the same time, growing and allowing it to blossom to becoming something that is, my goal, a household name. Like, I want people to say, Ain't that something? Did you listen to the podcast? Did you see what she said? So that's, my ultimate goals. And within that goal, I'm very realistic person and understand the process of, taking on this venture and doing the things that it takes. So I appreciate all the supporters that are, listening and supporting and giving comments and giving your likes and leaving reviews. It means so much to me, because I feel like this is a platform that I can reach people that may not have anyone to talk to. But from my experience and my expertise as a counselor, I'm here willing to shine some light, provide some thought provoking conversations, and have fun. Of course. So that's where Ain't That Something is going next. There will be some interactive things to come that you can be on the lookout for. Some things to help us get to those goals, build our confidences up and things. So stay tuned, keep listening, keep supporting, and we're gonna do great things. So just to catch you guys up, the last couple of weeks has been pretty intense for me. And I want to talk about when we are faced with challenges that are beyond our control. You know, I did a whole series about preparing yourself and working on yourself, getting yourself ready for a relationship. And, that's all great. But you also have to think about just yourself, being in a relationship with yourself, and how to keep yourself aligned and positive when things out of your control happen, whether that's finance, whether that's with family, whether that's with yourself, if you're to get sick or you have, you know, a hospitalization or injury. How do you stay grounded with that? So that's what I want to explore in this conversation this evening, because when I tell you life can come at you at some really twist and turn kind of ways, it does. Even when you think everything is lined up, even when you think you're doing everything that is um, keeping you in a positive space, there can be things that can just really weigh heavy on you. And so we need to be able to recognize when something is too heavy, when something is bearing down on us to the point where we're feeling broken, we're feeling, um, setback, or even just discouraged to move forward. What we have to keep in mind is that's life. That's life. Life is going to have ups and downs. And when we're up, we we forget what it's like when we're down until we're down again. And then we are, stuck in a place sometimes of, not wanting to be in that position, and how can you prevent it? But unfortunately, there's no prevention, there's no tips, there's no tools that I can give anyone that will prevent you from having the downs, right? But what I can offer as a encouraging tool is to maintain your community. You know, I have a group of women and men that, if I'm going through something and I just need a sense of perspective from someone else, or I just need to hear someone else's guidance, or I just need to hear somebody say, be encouraged, you can do this. I have that community to do that with. And I think it's super important that we normalize that you have, a system outside of just your family or like your core, but a system of people who can relate to, they have wisdom, and depending on what you're going through, you can seek some guidance from them, right? Because when we try to deal with this stuff on our own, um you can feel very trapped, you can feel very boxed and cornered in, because you're not wanting to let anyone know. You're trying to handle it on your own. Maybe you're a strong woman who has always had to deal with something or always had to figure it out, and you figured it out and it worked out. You problem solved whatever the issue was, and that's just your MO. But there are going to be times where what you've done before and that strength that you have may feel over overused. It may feel like I can't do this. I don't know how to fix this problem. And when you're in that moment, that's when you need to seek out supports, right? And I will also say, whatever your faith is, like seeking guidance spiritually, because a lot of times when we are going through things, it has nothing to do with the physical realm, but there's things that's happening spiritually that can put these challenges in our way, right? And it's to either make you stronger, or it's to, provide a lesson that you're learning from, whatever the case is. But just know you are not alone. Just know that you're not the only person that has gone through or is going through something. And this is the best part. It's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever, even though in that moment it doesn't feel like it's going to be temporary. It feels like I'm in this right here right now and it's heavy and I want it to end. I want this burden to be lifted off of me, you know. Um and that's something that I just strongly feel that when we really are independent, we solve these problems, we are the person that fix it. And when we have a challenge that we can't fix it, it can really crush us and, discourage your soul. So definitely keep your community close. Keep your community close. Surround yourself around people who are positive. It does not help your situation if you speak to someone who always has something negative to say. And I don't want to sound like a broken record in preaching positivity, but it is so important, it's so imperative that we understand that the energy that we exude out to someone and the energy that they release, it's very, very um contagious. So if you're talking to someone and they don't have anything to say that can uplift you, then no, those are not the ones that you are going to rely on as your community, because that's not going to lift you up. That's just going to bring you down even further, right? Let's get into some, ideas of things that maybe we do control and it doesn't turn out the way that we want. You know, um sometimes we may have ideas or plans that something is going to have a different outcome. It's going to be a positive outcome. You're going to, land that job. You prepared for it. You waited for this interview. Now you got it. And you think you nailed that interview and you didn't, right? They go with someone else, or they um, hire somebody within. So it knocks you completely out. That's a real situation that has happened to me. But you continue to encourage yourself and remind yourself that, hey, maybe that wasn't for me. Whatever that position was, whatever that role was, it's not what was for me. It's not meant to be. You have to have that as your mindset, because if you beat yourself up and say, oh man, I didn't do that interview right. I knew it was my cover letter. Maybe I should have did my resume this way or that way. You're never going to get the answer. You're never going to know. So what you have to embrace and understand is that what's for you is going to be for you. Everything is going to line up accordingly for that. And if it's the time for you. If it's not, then that just means that you need a little bit more time to be perfected, to be prepared, to be ready for the position that is ultimately for you. That's just an example, right? But this can go in so many directions. right? Maybe it's the house that you wanted to buy. You did everything that you were supposed to do with your finances. Your credit is good. You got the pre approval. You're ready to sign on the dotted line. And something happens, the house is no longer available. Then that just means that wasn't for you. And something better is there waiting for you next. That is hard. That is hard to apply to your situation or your circumstance, because it's always easier said than done. Always. However, stay focused, stay positive. Um, Remain on the path no matter what obstacles come your way, because there's not going to be an obstacle free course. There's not going to be an obstacle free journey that you're on. Every journey that we take is going to have some type of obstacle, roadblock, uh, puzzle, riddle. It's going to have something that is going to give some level of difficulty for whatever reason. Like, I can't explain it, but that's just the way it is. And you can do everything in your power to try to prevent any adversity, but it's going to happen. So what we have to do is understand that that's what's happening. That's the way life is. That's the way our journey in life is. And we can't get hung up on the small adversities that happen, or the setbacks that happen. Okay, something happens. I'm going to use it as a detour. I'm still on the path. I'm still going for what I want. And that takes, for sure, a sense of motivation and true clarity within yourself. You know, you have to become one with yourself and understand that all of these things um, are just part of it. It's just part of it. It's part of, looking at life as a season, the different seasons that we go in, or the different chapters that we turn a page over to, you know, or era. I like era. Like, you can look back at pictures and be like, oh, this was this era. I was in that era. This was this era. But all in all, what my goal to the listeners for this episode is that if you are going through something, if you are going through something and you don't feel like anybody understands, or you're going through something and you don't feel like you have anyone to truly talk to who's going to be non judgmental, who's going to be supportive, who's going to be uplifting, then I want to say to you, look a little bit deeper. Look into other resources that may be in your, you know, neighborhood, in your community. Um, if you go to church, see what your pastors or the ministers offer. If you're in school, go to the student resources. Every campus, if you're a college student and you're dealing with these type of things, go to a resource on your campus and seek out support, because if you're battling something and you can't get through it on your own, there's nothing wrong with going to a counselor. There's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist to talk through, to give you more tools to work through whatever it is that you're dealing with. And if that's not where you are and you do have that circle, that community of people, reach out to them. And if you are somebody's circle community, check on your people, because you never know what they are going through and what they think they have to go through on their own. I have friends that we don't talk, on a regular basis, but they have a very special place in my heart. And so, just if they run across my mind during the week and I've been busy, I'm gonna shoot them a text. Hey, just was thinking about you. I hope everything is good. Like, you don't know during that moment that person could be going through something that is so beyond challenging, and your text will just let them know somebody was thinking about them, or somebody cares to check in with them. I learned a long time ago that sometimes we take our friends for granted. We look at it like, oh, well, they got family, they have other friends, it it's okay if they don't hear from me. I'm gonna see them again. Until you hear a friend tell you, like, oh man, I had to spend the holidays by myself, and nobody called me. I was just at home, and it was terrible. Like, sometimes people go through this. Sometimes this happens. But be that friend, be that person that just says, hey, I hope all is well. Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing good, because it can make a world of a difference just for that person to know that they are cared for. So, with that, y'all, happy birthday to Aunt. Ain't that something? And I appreciate, again, you all listening and supporting the podcast. We're going to continue. We're going to keep it going. More topics ahead, more exciting things this year. So stay tuned. And like I said, ain't that something?